Hey Guiding Bolt Gamers, this is Tilly here. We're all stuck in quarantine, so I decided to make a few crafty type projects. This is kind of an Underdark mushroom forest. When I first started it, I'm pretty sure I thought it was going to end up on Nailed It. It was not going well, but I think the end product came out pretty nice. So at the very end of this, I will tell you some of the things that I kind of feel like I did wrong and how you might be able to do it a little bit easier, kind of learn from my mistakes. So the first thing you're going to need is this polymer. I bought it on Amazon, and I'll put some links in this video so you can kind of see which ones I bought, the colors. I bought a translucent and then I bought a blue because I wanted to mix them together to kind of get a different color. And then I also bought these LED lights, little fairy lights. These ones are just on a switch that you can turn off and on. And so what you're going to need to do is I needed these two polymers together because I kind of wanted a light blue and I didn't like either of the colors by themselves. And then I made these tubes for the stems, and I used a toothpick to hollow out the insides because I want to put that wire from the LED up through the middle of it. So this kind of made it easier. You're going to end up, this is the type of polymer that you bake in the oven. So once they're baked, then I can go back in and I can cut down the seam there, and it made it a lot easier to insert that wire into those different stems. So I wanted about 6 to 8 mushrooms in my little centerpiece, so I just made enough stems and mushrooms so that I could do that. So here's another one. I guess this part wasn't too bad. I found this polymer was a little bit hard to knead, so I'm going to look at some other brands as well and see if they're a little bit easier to work with. But here was my end product. I just kind of made little domes for the caps, and then those are the stems, and I baked them according to the instructions on the package. So then the next thing that I did was I just twisted the LEDs. I wanted 2 because it wasn't quite bright enough with the LEDs that I bought, so I kind of twisted 2 of them together and then fed that through the tube that I made for the stem. So you can kind of see I liked it. It was a little bit brighter with 2. I would probably buy different LEDs, but I'll kind of talk about that at the end if I do this again. So right there I'm cutting a slit, whoops, down the center so I can really feed that wire in. This is like the most frustrating part of this project. It was really hard once that polymer was baked to feed that wire through there. So maybe you'll have a better idea about how you could better feed that through, but I just kind of tried to pry it open with my fingers and then push the wire. So now that you have your wire all fed through, you can just go ahead and hot glue the caps on. I left a light in between to give myself a little bit more room with the wire so that I could really move them around the piece of wood and kind of put them where I wanted to glue them onto the wood. So here is, I just found these sticks out in my yard. We had some branches that fell down over the winter from some storms that already kind of had some moss growing on them. And then I purchased some moss on Amazon. This bag is pretty large. I didn't even use maybe 1/5 of this when I was assembling this all together. So you're going to go and start gluing the moss down to the sticks. You'll glue the mushrooms right onto the stick and kind of put moss around in between. Tuck your wires in so they don't show as much. And lastly, it's kind of fun to add a little bit of miniatures, or if you have like a myconid, or you want to put some little fey creatures in there, that's kind of fun. So some of the mistakes that I guess I made are things that I would do differently if I did this again. I bought LED lights that just have a switch. I would definitely invest in some that were either on a timer or that some of them have like a little remote that comes with them. You can turn them off and on. I would also try some different polymer, maybe some glow in the dark or some other colors to just try something different. And I would also get a different jar. I did not like how narrow my jar was when I was trying to glue the mushrooms down in. It was a really tall jar and it was kind of hard to get my hands down in there and kind of manipulate things around. So I would definitely go with a jar with a much wider base. I think that that would have made things a little bit easier, and I could have maybe gotten a bigger piece of wood that I could have shown more of the wood in the project. So that's it for me today, guys. As I mentioned, there's links to Amazon if you want to look at what I purchased. Feel free to comment or ask any questions below. I'd be happy to answer anything you have. Or if you have comments for me on something that you've purchased that you really liked, I'd be happy to know about that too. So thanks so much for watching.